It's like me when I play pool drunk, and I'm so good at it. And like honestly, all those shots.
He's not the worst thing about Manchester United. I think his attitude could definitely improve.
You know, if Todd Bowley decided to spend £100 million on me and put me in there, you'd go, hang on a minute. You wouldn't suddenly go, Rory should be scoring 30 goals.
He's rubbish.
You'd go, he's rubbish.
Can I ask you a question? Would you take him at United? Would you take him at United?
He'd be their best player.
What? You're puffing your cheeks out at Jack Grealish.
I'm not saying.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome to 888 Sport. On this episode of the playlist, we are going to be ranking the most disappointing players so far this season. What we're going to do, though, because we're kind and generous and 'tis the season to be jolly, we are going to give the new signings a bit of leeway. So you have to qualify for this conversation, you have to have been at the club for about a year. Right, helping me go through this today are none other than the wonderful Abby Summers, Mr. Paul Machin, and Flex. The players that I would love for you to rank are, obviously, Marcus Rashford.
Why, obviously?
Jack Grealish, Darwin Nunez, Mudryk, and Enzo Fernandez. Right, just before we reveal, will you please do us a favour? Click that subscribe button right now. I promise you it will be worth your while. We have some brilliant content coming up. Okay, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
This is all over the place.
You two all over the place. You two are all over the place. Darwin Nunez, bottom, Paul.
Yeah. He shouldn't really be on there, to be honest. I've put him on. I've put Darwin on just to say that because there's a point at which, as we're recording, he's gone like 6 or 7 games without a goal. I've really enjoyed him, but I think he's on a tipping point where it's starting to get a little annoying, and it would be great if he just scored the goals that he should be scoring.
Them easy ones,
Just did the things that we all know he can do. We can do it, Darwin. You can do it. We know you can. Just do it, please. We're reaching the point where everyone's like, Nunez is great. I love the support.
Proper behind him, yeah.
But like, and I'm stealing the point of my wonderful co-host Chris Pajak when I say I'd rather just do that when he scores than when he misses. Let's try that for a change.
You'd never do it then, would you?
Well, yeah.
I think that's fair.
I'm surprised.
He's bottom of my one as well, because I think with him, he's like a bit of an enigma. It's like I haven't remembered a player in so long who, like, there's a lot right about his game. He's aggressive. He makes good runs. He always wants the ball. And I actually think he's a good player.
It's like me when I play pool drunk, and I'm so good at it. And like honestly, all those shots, pulling them
that
out,
you've got in your head.
Sober, I'm like, I was doing this last night, so why can't I do? It's defo in there.
He scores the worldies and like misses from like 4 yards, but he is at it. Like, defenders won't enjoy playing against him. It's not like he's not in the game.
Do you know?
And out of these,
though,
does more.
All of these things, when people say you've got to embrace the chaos, and he's got the talent, and defenders won't like to play against him. It feels like you're creating metrics to justify him being pretty rubbish.
No, I just think it will come. I actually do think it will come.
Yeah, well, look,
I do.
He does score goals and get assists, which are the other metrics,
and pre-assists, which was another metric that was created.
No, that's a real thing.
What are you doing? How have you two not got Marcus Rashford top?
Yeah.
Purely for the fact that I think the amount of money that has been spent on Mudryk and Enzo is outrageous for pretty much minimal contribution. It has not made Chelsea any better. Rashford, again, I do think that he probably should be within those top 2 spaces, but I can't overlook the Chelsea disappointment there.
Just to ask this question. With Mudryk, of course, there was loads of money spent, but that's it. Like, that's the only reason why you think he should be better, just because of the money.
Well,
he's incredibly young, came from Shakhtar, has no real record of being particularly good. It's literally money.
Yeah.
Whereas with Marcus Rashford, we have loads of data to suggest that he is one of the best players in his position in the world. At one point, we were saying, this time last year, he scored 30 goals for Manchester United last season. He went to the World Cup. He was England's top goal scorer at the World Cup. There were genuine comparisons with Kylian Mbappe.
I mean, I think that was
not from people who
have common sense.
But that kind of narrative did get flung around a little bit.
But I feel
to the
like
point where it made
whenever United go on a run and he's in a purple patch, the fan base just go absolutely wild and throw out ridiculous comparisons like that. He's nowhere near it. But I think with Rashford, the reason why he's just below these two is because we have seen him contribute to United before. I know we're basing this off of the past year, so I'm also taking into account Rashford's form in that. I think that he's not the worst thing about Manchester United. I think his attitude could definitely improve, but I think the issues that are going on within the club at United, whether it's the manager, the players, and obviously behind the scenes with the takeover, is it happening, is it not, and the board stuff, he's not my biggest disappointment because I can see there's other factors. But these two, the amount of money, and I have to say the money because you have spent £1 billion, but these two, for me, there is just no excuse to have that price.
But the excuse would be that they're not good players.
But he was twerking for Arsenal last year, and you thought, no, I'll have him because he's twerking for Arsenal. He hasn't come in and he hasn't affected Chelsea in any way, shape or form positively. And
he
I
had
think
that really good dribble in his first game
against Liverpool.
Everyone remembers it. That good dribble. Remember that?
That's what 100 mil gets.
Such a ludicrous recruitment
It's just
strategy.
crazy. I haven't seen
Such a
improvement
ludicrous.
in Chelsea for either of these two players, and that's a lot of money shelled out for them.
On the Rashford thing, there just comes a point where it's like, I mean, you stop being potential and you just like, 100%. This is how good you are. You know what I mean? He's not a kid anymore. He's one of them players. I think people will probably be like surprised to find out how old he is. I think in everyone's head he's like 21.
Because he's been around for 8 for
How old is he? 25, 26?
He's just going into like 26, I think.
Yeah, he's not young.
He's going into his prime.
Exactly, but it's like he has a really good season, a really good bit of a season, then he has a bad season at some point. And ultimately, I'm not disappointed in him because if he wants to be rubbish, that's fine by me. But I mean, who cares?
Ten Hag's put a lot of faith in him. And at the moment, Rashford's not repaying it. And I understand why Ten Hag did put faith in him because Abby's right. Like last year, he scored 30 goals. It was his best ever return. And you're saying, wow, you get a manager in who's going to put an arm around him and give him his position properly. And he thrives. But in terms of the drop-off from the reason why he's top of my list is not because I'm just trying to single him out to say he's everything wrong at Man United and it's all his fault. Because you're right, it's not. There's so many factors. But from the level of performance that he was at last year, maybe in a condensed period, yes, but the impact he had to literally go into Goodison Park and Bruno Fernandes saying, I need to give you this penalty, mate.
Yeah, charity.
If we're going to be good, I need to get you going. So have this penalty. Yeah. Then the performance at Newcastle, not trying, not caring. When the chips are down, even if you're not scoring or you're not assisting or you're not having a good game, I expect to see you running harder than anyone. The reason why people like McTominay get a little bit of a pass, or someone like a Fred, or when Maguire was getting absolutely rinsed at Newcastle, but everyone went, oh, but you know what? He's trying to give it all. That's the minimum requirement. And when I see Marcus Rashford not doing that, there's something seriously going on.
So the metrics are failure, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That you're just trying hard. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. But with him as well, there is ability. Yeah. So there's both. You're not doing either, and you're a local boy. So the drop off for me is so big. Like you said, Mudryk and Enzo, especially Mudryk, I ain't seen him do anything. That's why I'm not putting him top.
Yeah,
so from where Rashford was to where he is now, that drop has been the biggest on this.
Like calling Mudryk uninspiring or whatever, I get, but calling him disappointing. The reason why I don't think he has been disappointing is because to disappoint, you have to have some level of expectation.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of hype.
Only for money, though.
Yeah, but for money. But if you're going to spend, I know the market is crazy, but if you're going to spend £100 million on a player you have literally seen play 9 times, and the same with Enzo, to be fair, he did half a good season, a decent World Cup.
Enzo, I think Enzo, there would have been expectation, and there is expectation, which is why he's higher.
You can't just shell out 100 mil and not have an expectation of a player
that's just
to
money.
deliver.
You know, if Todd Bowley decided to spend £100 million on me and put me in there, you'd go, hang on a minute. You wouldn't suddenly go, Rory should be scoring 30 goals.
He's rubbish.
You go, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. They spent loads of money on him.
And you have spent loads of money on rubbish players. You have. But at the same time, I can't get over the fact that you just shell out £100 million
and he's done nothing.
For no return.
Do you know what? You're both
Where's your ROI?
Because basically,
none.
You're where's the return on investment?
I love it.
He's getting business.
You should get in our boardroom.
No, but the truth is, you're actually both right. You're saying, listen, I'd never heard of this kid. There was a social media storm that Arsenal going to get him. Hold that, we beat you to his signing. He was saying he wanted to go to Arsenal with Zinchenko.
Twitter Spaces made you buy this.
100%. So that's true. But then Abby's right. Once you do lay down the money for someone, you don't just get to say like they're just sitting there.
I think you can only have expectation. Expectation needs to be born out of more than just money. And with Enzo Fernandes, he was a fortune. But he contributed to the World Cup, that goal against Mexico and all of that. So there can be expectation.
After half a good season.
The Mudryk expectation probably came in some WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, 100%.
So I agree. I actually agree with
Rory's point on that. It's come off of YouTube clips, seeing some highlights.
How fast he is.
Look at him, he's rapid.
It's
just, I'm sorry, you cannot shell out that. I mean, if I took this from a Tottenham perspective and we spent 60 million on Richarlison, which we all know has been a massive flop, the criticism that he gets, I mean, come on, that's
he's even scored goals.
If Richarlison, it's because we have data of him scoring goals in the Premier League. If Richarlison's record was from a good season at Shakhtar, you'd go, okay, there's no expectation.
Okay, so then my point is you can see that 60 million, okay, he's proven in the Premier League, he scored at Everton, he'd been at Watford before that. You spent 100 million on a player from Shakhtar because he was targeted for Arsenal.
I haven't felt uninspired by Mudryk, or I haven't felt sort of disappointed in him.
No,
No, I haven't felt.
You?
No,
just
I'm
feel just
ambivalent. I'm ambivalent. He's some geezer that I've never really heard of until he signed for my club.
Yeah.
He's just some like tattoo fellow with a moody haircut. I don't care.
Just a footballer, isn't he? He's literally
Just a footballer,
yeah.
who happens to play for my club.
Can we talk about Jack Grealish?
Can we
Yeah.
please talk about Jack Grealish?
Yeah.
Why
is he top for you?
Because
can't be
it's
top.
£100 million for dreamy calves and Keira Knightley hair. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, what else?
Oh,
He's got. There's a bit of. There's a bit of. Talk to us. Yeah, talk to us.
You do. You hate him. He can't bear
I just
it.
think it's hilarious that he's held up as this he's Gaza in 1990 or or whatever. Like he's like this the great hope of English football. What does he do?
Talk.
But what does he do?
Talk. I'm with you. This guy. Listen.
What does he do?
Don't get me wrong, yeah. And this isn't. Listen.
Shameless.
This isn't Man United just hating on Man City. I will call out their amazing players. They got amazing players. Jack Grealish is not amazing.
He is.
What? No, he's not. What he does do is he gets the ball, he keeps the ball, he cuts in. If you're a top draw player, you don't need that many touches on the ball to just do the same thing every time. And I think it's evident in the evolution of that position, which is why Pep's gone for a Doku who's refreshing. He's going to get past people and engage defenders. Don't get me wrong, Jack Grealish he's good, but he's not built up to what everybody says that he is. I don't believe that.
Integral to a treble win.
Yeah, he's done
Yeah,
well.
but we're
He's done
talking
well.
about disappointing. He's got
done well.
one
He's done
goal
well.
this season. One goal.
Whenever
One
it's really mattered for Man City, so maybe the derby starts Grealish.
Yeah.
That's not a big game though anymore, is it?
True. He's right. That's the runner. You just come back, just get your
I think
fitness.
you're
up.
better.
Plays the mid-table sides, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
Doku is the one who's coming and he's the one being
I
refreshing.
think they're different players.
They are, but there's a reason why Pep's gone and got that type of player.
To give another alternative.
No, but he's playing.
They got rid of
Grealish.
Gundogan. They got rid of Mahrez. They need another alternative. I
Jack
think
Grealish
that's
is
really
the most
harsh.
predictable. And you talk about where he was playing every single game last year. He's
What?
the most predictable.
Can I ask you a question?
player.
Would you take him at United? Would you take him at United?
He'd be their best player.
What?
That
You're
doesn't-
puffing your
that doesn't
cheeks
mean-
out
yeah,
at Jack
I'm not
Grealish.
saying
Be the
that
best
doesn't,
player.
but that doesn't mean.
Yeah,
No. You're acting like I'm saying he's not good.
Where does
I'll
he
take him.
play, by
but
the way?
everyone said left wing, but just cutting in every time.
Oh, he
Man
walked straight
United.
into your team.
Yeah, he probably walks into
Straight
United.
Yeah, cool. I'm not saying. I'm not.
Yeah.
look,
Better
that's-
than Rashford, isn't
But that doesn't mean he's as good as we say he is. Just because my team's crap and someone can get into my team,
So
that doesn't mean I have to think they're amazing.
So everyone is Grealish fifth.
Yeah.
You're
Grealish is overrated.
pleased with his season so far. I
He's
think it's
the
going
least-
really
he's
well
the
for
least
him.
disappointing
We're going off
of
of
everyone
calendar
on this
year.
list.
Oh right, Sounds
Calendar
okay.
year.
Again, but this is what I'm talking about. You got to look at what I'm saying is the reason why I had Rashford there is because of where he was versus where he is now. Where Grealish was, like you just said, you're talking
How
about
many
last
goals
year,
did Rashford score last season?
30.
Right, sounds. So Rashford can be top because he's not been good this season, but Grealish is bottom because
Exactly.
he was good.
That's
last
why Grealish is a
No,
close
Grealish
second.
has
because
been good this
Mate,
season.
He's
Grealish-
been rubbish this season.
He hasn't been good.
He's been good.
No,
He
he
scored.
hasn't.
nothing.
He
scored against Tottenham.
Scored against Tottenham. He
Yeah.
played really well against Manchester United. He's had good.
What
he's
metrics
been-
are we using here, Rory? Has he had any
Man
free
United-
assists?
Hold on, hang on a minute.
Have you got shares in an Alice band company?
I
Is this
just-
what this is?
You just, do you know what I think? I know what you're like, yeah. I genuinely think Rory thinks this. I mean, just look at him. He's got the Alice band. Look at his calves.
I do like
he's
Jack
a good
Grealish.
specimen
And
of
I
a
don't know
man.
why you hate
I think-
Jack Grealish
no, I
so
don't
much.
hate him.
He's
I just
brilliant.
know why I think the reasons why you love him so much will be like
I do
when
love
you
Jack
look at him, you just go,
I
he's
do love
got
Jack
good
Grealish,
hair, and
I
he's
think
got
he's
good
brilliant.
banter.
No, I genuinely
He's got
think
good calf.
if you're
That's what you would
asking
say.
about
I like him in the John Lennon glasses, celebrating as well.
If you're asking about these
Wore his
players,
kit.
who's
Yeah.
the
Oh,
most-
what a lad! Wore his kit for 5 days after the final. That's why
Mudryk
you.
Maverick.
is.
Do you expect more from Grealish or Mudryk?
I expect for £100 million.
Yeah. Which
You've
Grealish is?
been here for 1 year. I have seen zero.
Right.
Zero. I've seen Grealish be good. I've seen
Yeah, but what do you
Nunez
see
have
now?
moments. I've seen Rashford be good. Again, he's not stepping up at the minute, but I've seen all of those three players actually contribute and deliver. I have seen nothing.
If
from
someone
them.
look at being disappointed in Mudryk,
That's a disgrace.
it's like-
Paul's a disgrace.
No, I'm
You've
not.
got
I'm
Grealish
not.
top. That's good.
Disgrace.
He's got one goal.
Enzo Fernandez is more disappointing than everyone on the list apart from Rashford, simply because of the expectation. Like when we signed him, like I remember sort of I was at the World Cup. I saw him play. I saw him change the fortunes of Argentina. Came into that team, scored that goal against Mexico. They obviously won it, and you think, okay, this is a brilliant signing for Chelsea. At the time, you remember like Real Madrid were talking about like putting him in that midfield that's sensational. You kind of think, okay, this is it for Chelsea. This is going to be the... It's been so average.
But even that wasn't it. I was at the World Cup watching a lot of Argentina games actually in person, and it's like Rodrigo de Paul and what's his face? McAllister and
Lionel
City.
Messi.
No.
Alvarez.
They done a lot of running.
But do you know,
Enzo was like again just in the middle. Just
do you know what Enzo Fernandez
managed?
managed? Enzo Fernandez didn't play in the game against Saudi when they got beat.
Yeah, when they got
He
beat.
then came in, didn't he? When they had that
So
must-win
did
game
Martinez.
against. He had that must-win game against Mexico. He comes in, he scores the goal.
Yeah.
He's never dropped from the team again. They win the World Cup. Like that is
There's a bit of
a
mileage
great
in it.
story.
Is there a chance that like Todd Bowley just keeps getting sent for like dummies here? Like other CEOs are going, we're really after this player, we're really after this player. And Liverpool were in for Enzo Fernandez, and like, we want this guy, and he's going, right, oh my God, I'm going to go and pay the release clause. We'll pay the release clause, and he pays like a
I think the sample size with Enzo was extremely small. I know you watched him in a tournament, but never sign off the back of a tournament. Amrabat, for example, don't sign off the back. He tackled Mbappe.
Karol
once.
Poborski, for example.
Absolutely. There's many players who don't sign off the back of a tournament. But I would just say, in terms of the sample size, as Flex always loves to bring sample size into it, at club level, he'd had about 6 months. Yeah. That was it. It was a hell of a lot of money. And I remember, talking about this on transfer shows last season and thinking, that is a lot of money to spend on a player that you've seen play for 4.5 months in a league.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. The only reason why I think we may have to revisit. So if we have a look at this list and try and predict the future, like who gets off of this list, I think that the two that will not be on this list in terms of being like the most disappointing at the end of the season when we're reflecting, I think Grealish is off the list, and I think Enzo Fernandez has a good chance of being off the list. I think he has the ability, and if Chelsea's fortunes change,
If Chelsea's fortunes change.
Grealish probably will.
We'll cross that imaginary
bridge. All right.
Grealish will probably be off because it's just City, innit? They're successful.
Absolutely mental. I think Onana goes top of the list.
You think Onana ends up on
players who have been here for a year?
No, but at the end of the season.
Well, at the end of the season. At the end of the season.
Onana, I agree with you.
I think Emerson Royal might find his way back.
He's been all right.
Maybe Skip might find his way. Yeah, I don't know.
Don't deflect, okay? Don't deflect.
Maybe Brian Hill.
You'll
go back to Taylor Celso.
Is there anyone else that you would put on this list if you're trying to predict the future? Who could
basically every Manchester United player. I think there's a conversation. So it'll be like, can we do 5 who haven't?
Well, to be honest, Paul's right, because if Man United do what I think is going to happen, which is just implode and just peter out, then the whole squad, it's like, well, I expected more from Mount, I expected more from Amrabat, I expected more
Mount's a shout.
Yeah, but obviously he's been injured.
A big old shout.
He's been injured for a long time.
Varane, Casemiro.
Didn't get a chance. Injured.
It's wonderful.
Seen him play a few times in a United shirt.
This has been emotional. I don't know if I've ever seen you so animated, Abby.
From Mikhailo and Mudryk.
Grealish as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What has Mikhailo Mudryk done to you?
Honestly, I just hate Chelsea. I hate Chelsea.
I like seeing there's the honesty that we're
And I'll be honest, it
actually
isn't about a bias here, because I genuinely think, as much as I do hate Chelsea, I really do feel that they are the most disappointing people on there.
In the season of goodwill. Thank you very much for watching this video. Really do appreciate it. Please do us a favour before you go. Click subscribe, and the second that this video goes live, all 4 of us are going to be in the comments. So let us know what you think. Have we been too harsh on maybe Mikhailo Mudryk, if you're Abby, and Marcus Rashford, Enzo Fernandez, Jack Grealish, and Darwin Nunez? Thanks again, and we will see you all on the next episode of The Playlist. Thanks again for watching, and if you want to see us rank the top 5 seasons in Premier League history, click the link right now.